Hi, garden friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Era, and this is Gardening on Purpose. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're a subscriber, welcome back. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. I garden in Georgia, Zone 8A. For today's video, I'm actually going to be giving you guys a backyard tour. It's the first week in March. A lot of things are flowering. A lot of things have come to life. A lot of things are budded up. A lot of new growth is happening in the garden. So I definitely want to document that. Plus, we're expecting a lot of rain in the next couple of days. So with that rainwater, comes a lot of new growth as well. I'm also just going to be doing the backyard. Another day I'll do a March side yard and the front yard because there's just so much and I don't want the videos to be that long. So let's get started. All right, guys, turning the camera around here. I'm very happy with the way things are looking right now for March, right? One of the first things I want to point out are the wood chips. They're still looking good. Remember, I cut my tree down. I used the wood chips from that tree. And before I had cut my tree down, I had actually gotten a chip drop. Chip drop are usually available in Tennessee, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and then one other state I can't remember right now, because it's usually, tree companies cutting people's trees down. You put your name on the list and then they drop it off for free. You can actually give them a little something so that you could probably, get your chip drop faster or something, but it's definitely supposed to be free. So I put cardboard down, and after the cardboard, I put the wood chips. I put 4 to 6 inches of wood chips, and it is holding the fort down, guys. I have not seen one weed in the wood chips yet. So, of course, that is going to change. I know that weeds are just something that's just part of the garden. And I'm just really, really liking how the wood chips have stayed the course so far. On to the flowers, guys. We have some beautiful lantern rose, also known as hellebore. Now, these beauties here bloom in the winter to the early spring, and they are an evergreen for me. Now, these two here I recently bought. There's 2 right here. But the others I've had in my yard and they're doing great. They do kind of nod, but they are breeding them now where you're seeing more of the flowers actually going upright. I have the Ice and Roses series, and I have this guy here. This one here is the Eternal Spark that I got from Growers Outlet. When I drove up there back on Valentine's Day, those were $6. Now, they're usually expensive in the big box stores, but a place like Loganville, Georgia, where I went in the Growers Outlet, they had all kinds of prices. They had the $6, the $9, the $15, $25 hellebore. They do really, really well for me, guys. Also in this bed, I have macrophylla hydrangeas and hostas that are beginning to poke their heads out. See, there's a hosta right there. March is when the hostas start to show their faces. And then I have a lot of macrophylla hydrangeas in here. You really can't see too much, but I'm going to zoom in right here. You're going to see one that actually has some new growth. These guys here are part sun and even shade, because here in Georgia, they will definitely burn if they're in too much sun. This area here is also a lot of hydrangeas, and you might see some little green spots here. Those are all new growth, different types of hydrangeas that bloom on old wood or old and new wood. And I can't wait to show you guys when they actually fill out. But what happens is that they put on their buds the previous fall, so that you got to be careful how you prune this. You don't want to cut this off and then risk not having any blooms. Now, this beauty here is the Daphne Adore. Remember, when I bought it from Growers Outlet, I kept saying to myself, because I read that it was a very hard plant to deal with, and if you plant it somewhere, don't move it, right? And so far it's been holding up, and I don't know if it's going to bloom for me or not, but this is a close-up of it right here. I got it from $18. Apparently they're very expensive, even though I got it this small, but so far so good. Another plant that I got from the Growers Outlet is Edgeworthia, also known as paper bush. Now, this guy here, it loses its leaves and then it blooms, and these guys are really knotted. For me to get a really good angle of this, I have to kind of come down further, but this is what it's looking right now. And it got damaged because when I bought it, I actually forgot to plant it and it got really, really cold. Now this guy here is hardy to zone 7 or 8, so it definitely cannot take a freeze, especially in a container. And that's probably why it's not doing that great, but it's not dead. And I'm happy to see that it's actually blooming. So hopefully next winter, which is when it's supposed to bloom, it will do well. Other than that, I have a lot of the yellow anise that I also bought. That these are doing great. These are evergreen, and the new foliage comes out looking yellow, and then when they mature, then they are green. Other than that, this entire bed going up here is hydrangeas or azaleas, and then here I have a this is an evergreen for me. This is a mahonia soft caress. It's kind of bloomed, didn't do great this year for whatever reason. We have gotten a really cold winter though, guys. All right, so further up we have candy tuft. Now remember I told you I bought some new ones from Lowe's because Lowe's had them 2 for $10, but I still had some in my yard and they are blooming and they look great. They don't grow that tall, and this is pretty much double the size that I bought it last year. It's looking really, really nice. In another bed here, guys, I have things like daylily. I have daylilies. I have lantana, irises, and even some azaleas that need to get out of here. But as you can see, the leaves are still in the bed. I leave some leaves. I don't clear out leaves completely because these definitely help with the mulching and it helps with keeping down the weeds. But for example, this guy here, this was a cat's meow nepeta that I cut back, and I had a video showing you when I cut back my perennials. And once I cut back the cat's meow nepeta, so here's one right here. Here's another one there. This one is not looking too great for whatever reason. And then I have 3 more going up that way. So they're doing great so far. Over here, you're going to see some German bearded irises and some daffodils in this bed, as is some gardenia. Right now, these guys here, these particular ones here, this is a German bearded iris. I bought the actual rhizome. I forgot where I bought it, but it was $4.98, and they should bloom this year because I knew they weren't going to bloom last year, but this year they should bloom. And plus, I have some other ones that have bloomed really nice purple, but at least these ones here are some beautiful colors. I definitely can't wait to show you those. Then I have a bunch of containers, guys, with roses. These are the True Bloom roses. Remember, I told you I went to Walmart and went back and bought some True Bloom roses, and I put them in these containers, and they're doing great. I also have those columnar apple trees that I mentioned that I bought from Home Depot. Put those in these pots as well. Right, and then I have the yellow Lady Banks rose. I had actually did a video last year at Lowe's, and I asked if anybody, had this, and somebody said, yeah, they do great. So I went back and got it. It was on clearance for $24.98, and I didn't even realize it wasn't that hardy because I know roses are pretty hardy, but this one is hardy to 7. Right, so what ends up happening is that I left it outside and it got beat up, but for whatever reason, it's still doing great. Hopefully it will bloom this year. Here's another bed, not much going on in it, except for in the center here, we have the azalea. This is the Autumn Majesty azalea, and everything else in here is either a dahlia, a butterfly bush, or my Chapel Hill lantana that I should not have cut back. I should have waited to cut it back because we're going to get another freeze. I don't know if it's going to come back. It says it's a perennial for me. I know that it's, some people saying it's not the true perennial one, but I do have the true perennial lantana. But hopefully I'll get back and I'll show you if it does. I also think I have some Veronicas in here as well. In this bed are daisies, agapanthus, and beauty berries, as is black-eyed Susans. But you can see they're all beginning to come out right now. And if I go further down, I don't know if you notice, guys, but these stones here I got from my neighbor for free, right? Got from my neighbor for free, so they're just something to walk on and something to give the garden a little bit more character. And I brought it all the way down this way. Right, and here I have I have some strawberries that I'm trying to hide or prevent from the chipmunks and the squirrels from getting. So I have them in chicken wire, double the chicken wire. Hopefully that will allow me to get strawberries. I got these at Home Depot and they're beginning to actually show strawberries. So I'm really, really, really happy about that. And then just other beds, guys, with stuff like yarrow here. This is a yarrow. More of the azalea and more of the daylilies. Now, here's something I want to make a correction on. The other day, I had bought a bunch of bare root white gila, and I said I didn't have any white gila, and that's because I forgot about this guy. I had bought this on clearance. This is the Shining Sensation white gila that I got from clearance last year, and it's coming back. I totally forgot about it when I said that I didn't have any white gila, but this is what it's supposed to look like. These really nice dark foliage and really nice red blooms. Let me know if you have the Shining Sensation and how it does. Also, I have some cardboard here trying to suppress some weeds while I fill this bed in. But you guys recognize this bed. This is a combination of alliums, veronicas, daylilies, daisies, salvia, sedum, butterfly bush, phlox, stuff like red hot poker. I even have my yucca in here, you know. So there's all kinds of stuff in here. It is time to buy mulch, guys, because you can see things are looking kind of thin. I came out here the other day to do some weeding, but it's like the more I pull out weeds, the more they come back. I have a nandina in here, and I also have a this guy here is an abelia and some knockout roses. So far, so good here on the back bed. And guys, I've been working on all this guy. Look at that. I made a little nice pathway with my little rocks that I bought. And I got these stones here from my neighbor for free. These I bought 5 or 6 years ago from a stone place before I started collecting those free rocks in my own yard. And this is what the pathway looks like, right? So I'm very happy about that. And then the bed on the other side of that is pretty much some of the same things. Butterfly bush, sedum, you know, salvia, nepeta, roses, bluebeard, all kinds of stuff doing here. Now I finally took out my nightlight Cameo citrus, because even though I knew it was dead, I had that 1% glimmer of hope. Finally pulled it out. So I'm gonna find something to put here. This is my Canyon Creek abelia, one of the #1 plants for swallowtail butterflies in my yard. They absolutely love the blooms for this guy. Look at my sunshine ligustrum, guys. It stays evergreen, but what happens is that it thins out the older leaves, new leaves come on. So it's never a bare plant, and that's the same thing with the others. So here's one right here, and then here's 4 more right there, and they're all doing the same thing. This bed here has agapanthus, phlox. This is the pancake arborvitae. This is Rose Creek abelia. I've got my diamond spire gardenia. That's that one gardenia that does really, really well in my yard, guys. I've got a lot of yarrow that's spreading that I'm going to have to move. That's yarrow that's spreading. And this is the famous white eye phlox, guys. Very excited about this guy. This guy blooms forever. It went all the way down until we were consistently freezing. It finally went to sleep. All right, doesn't look like much right now, guys, but this is the Chinese snowball viburnum. Love this plant. It blooms this huge white blooms, guys. Looks like a hydrangea, but it is not a hydrangea. It is a viburnum. They bloom mostly in the spring with some residual blooms, and you can see that this is what the stems are looking like. This can become a huge tree, so I'm trying to keep this guy down no more than 6 feet, guys. Here's another viburnum. This one was a clearance plant from Lowe's last year. This is the Sweet Talker viburnum from Proven Winners. I got this on clearance, and it looks like it's doing well. It's taking well to my yard. At the back of the sunshine ligustrums, guys, I have a whole lot of bulbs, lily bulbs. So I have either I have Asiatics or I have Orientals. So stuff like the Stargazer or the Cancun or even the Tiger Lily are all here. And you can see right there, they do really, really well in my yard and they have multiplied because I did not plant them this close. And you can see it is multiplying. Here is my royal red butterfly bush that needs to be cut back a little bit more. I try to cut back my butterfly bushes down to 12 inches because these particular butterfly bushes, they actually need 2 feet of growth for them to actually bloom. So I have to be strategic about how I cut down my butterfly bushes. And you can see it's getting kind of woody down there. So I have to clean it up. All right, let's move on to the next bed to see what else we find. This is where most of my coneflowers are. They haven't been doing that much right now. I just noticed that there's a lot of weeding that needs to be done here. And you can see back there is where a lot of my daffodils are. And I'll definitely do a close-up for that. In this bed are roses, Rose of Sharon, and coneflowers. Right, I need to cut my roses back. And then in this bed, more of the daylilies, and one of my really, really, really performs really, really well is the blue point juniper, guys. This beauty here is doing so well here. I bought this guy at the same time I bought those guys up there, these ones right here. But for whatever reason, he's the one that has taken off and I'm really, really liking it. Here's a close-up of all my, well, not all, most of where my daffodils stay. And I have different varieties. I always buy the bulb and I plant them in my yard. I let them go to sleep and they come back and they always do well. Now, a lot of the daffodils don't bloom at the same time. So if you come in close, you can see there's 2 different varieties here, right? And then a completely different one right here. So it's different varieties that come out different times of the season, but ultimately they all bloom in late winter into the early spring. The Limelight hydrangea is beginning to put on new buds, guys. This was a clearance plant. Again, I have like 4 or 5 of them, and they're all showing signs of life. I'm so happy to report that. I can't wait for this guy to bloom and put on a show in the summer. Let me know if you have Limelight or Little Lime or any of the lime, sounding hydrangeas. People really do go nuts for these things, and I can see why. I've only had these for, I would say, less than 2 years, and so far, so good. Dwarf Burford hollies, they put on these red berries in the winter and in the spring, and this is what it's looking like. This guy here, one of my favorite shrubs or trees, because it's going to actually be really big. This guy here has this really nice green glossy leaves that do really, really well, guys. I have 2 here. Sadly, I have to move them because I want to create a line of hydrangeas up there coming this way, and I need to move them. The reason why I haven't moved them yet is because I don't know where to put them, and I want to do it before spring actually starts because I don't want these guys to get stressed out. It's soon time to divide my lamb's ear, guys. This guy here grows so fast in my yard. Years ago, I had a bunch of lamb's ear, and I used to rave about them. And then one day, they all died. Not sure what the story is, guys. But I went back and got some more, and they took well again. I need to divide them and kind of spread them all over the yard. I love these guys. Now, this particular one does not bloom, but it doesn't need to because of this type of foliage. Making my way back up this way, guys. Here we have the containers that I have, my little area here where I have my bench. And then this is where I had my summer containers, but these are just here temporary. These are going to be crepe myrtles that need to go somewhere else, but I'm just having them right here. This is the Colorama crepe myrtle that I got on clearance at Lowe's. I have roses in here, and this is where I'll probably put, summer blooming annuals that are close to me when I'm taking a seat or, like having something to do in this area. Further up, I have some wisteria. This wisteria is in a container on the trellis. Right? Got this trellis. Let me go back this way so you can get a better idea of the trellis. Got this trellis from Amazon a few years ago, and I like it. And the wisteria definitely does well. This is not the wisteria that is invasive. And also one of the reasons I put it in the container is to stop it from growing fast. Because even though this one doesn't grow as fast as the one that's invasive, it still grows fast, right? And every year you can see it makes its way up on the trellis, has these really nice, beautiful purple blooms. Can't wait to show you guys how it looks. So I scraped off a lot of the leaves in the shade area. This is where most of my hostas are, most of my coral bells, and I have a lot of lungwort here, and I have bleeding heart as well here, as are some ferns. And the reason I cleared all the leaves off, and you can see right here, is because I need to run the mower over it and chip it up a little bit finer and then put it back in the bed. And I should have done it today, to be honest with you, because we're going to get rain, and obviously don't want to do that when the leaf is wet. But normally you definitely do not want to have your bed exposed like that for too long, but I can already see that things are pulling up here. So you can see a hosta here. There's a hosta right there coming out. Right. So I can't be in this bed too much because I don't know where the hosta heads are going to pop up. But I have, like, these guys are blooming. Look at this. This guy here, the lungwort's blooming. All of them that are blooming right there. Now, the coral bells, also known as heuchera, they are semi-evergreen for me. Some of them will completely go to sleep. Some of them will be semi-evergreen, and some of them are not affected at all by the winter. Like this guy here, I would call that a semi-evergreen because that's what it's looked like for the whole time until it puts on new growth in the spring, and then it looks really, really nice. This is where I have my potatoes. I did a video on potatoes, guys, how I grew my potatoes, and I was yapping away and it was not recording. So I have these three guys here with potatoes. I planted seed potatoes, so I'll definitely give you an update on how they do. And other than that, I have a whole bunch of plants that are still in containers that I still need to find something to do with them, or I took them out as a holding place until I figure out if I'm going to give them away or if I'm going to move something else. Now, one thing I also want to show you guys is this guy here. These are allium bulbs that I bought, and one thing I can say is the critters are not touching them. When I planted my tulips and even my daffodil that's supposed to be toxic to them, they're still digging those out, but they have yet to touch the allium. Now, this guy here, they don't really do well for me when I put them in the ground, so I left them in the container this year to see how they do. Let me know if you have any of the alliums and how they do. Finally, the edible garden is a working process, guys. I went and bought 2 more of the raised beds from Amazon, and I filled those in. I still have a ways to go, and I'm going to buy another one here to put here. You see, I already have the cardboard here, and this is the one that I got from Vego's Garden. Right there, Vego Garden, I'm sorry, VEGO Garden. Really, really nice quality, and it's doing great so far. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to get one more and put it in the front right here. So this area here will be my little edible area, guys. Now, I won't do too much with the edible garden until we pass our frost date, because I don't do seeds I don't do pre-seeds. I direct sow. So I don't have the space, I don't have the time or the patience to be doing a lot of the seed things and harden them off and put in grow lights. So I wait until it's time to actually plant them, and that has worked just fine for me. So stay tuned for that. All right, guys, so that is pretty much it for me here today for the first week of March. I anticipate that there'll be a lot of new growth between now and the next 3 weeks, so definitely stay tuned. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have anything that I have or anything in different varieties. Please like, please share, and please subscribe. Remember to hit that notification bell so you can be alerted on all my new videos. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.